5. I call this meeting of the Manchester's Select Board to order with Ann Harrison present, John Reed, John Round present, and Kathy Bellata present.
Brian's there
And
too.
Brian.
And
Brian is here too.
I just showed up as
and
well.
Brian. Aha.
This is Sarah Melish, and I will call the Finance Committee meeting to order. And I have with me on Zoom, Peter Twining, Gar Morse, Maury Creighton, Tom Parkins, or either Andy or Dean on? No, okay. So I have a quorum.
Okay, well, I'll kickstart us off if you'd like. As you know, as you've done some municipal transfers already, the municipal finance law allows towns to do budget transfers with a joint meeting of the finance committee and the select board up until 2 weeks prior to the end of the fiscal year and 2 weeks after the end of the fiscal year. So tomorrow, I think up until tomorrow, essentially, or today, actually. And we have a couple more transfers to put in front of you. I just sent you an email with an updated list. You'll see there's a couple changes from what you received the other day. Andrea's been working really hard on, getting this buttoned up for us. And I'll have Andrea go through them. And if you have any questions on them as we go through the transfers, I'm sure she'll be able to answer the questions better than I'm capable of. So with that, if you have access to your email, you can open the Word document that I sent over a little bit ago, a couple minutes ago. If not, Andrea, you can walk us through it.
Yeah, I'll walk it through anyway. It's just 2 changes, but I'll start off with, like I did before, just with number 1 and going on. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I just want to say I thank you. I appreciate this last minute meeting. So on the fiscal year end transfers sheet I sent out, number 1 was selectmen salaries. My estimate was off $20.45. I was really, really close. I was a little mad at myself about that. So that's that one. Number 2, we actually don't need. Cheryl and I went through and we found out that the beach managers are usually split between the Singing Beach and lifeguard salaries, and that had not happened in June. So that's why that $4,000 is different. So you can cross that one off. We do not need it anymore. Number 3 is the harbor salaries, the launch salaries, and launch expenses. And I know some of you had questions on the launch and making sure that no tax dollars went to it. In the last round of transfers I actually requested $11,000 from the launch to cover harbor expenses. So it was a little bit of an overestimation. So now I'm just kind of bringing some of that back to cover some of those.
You're going to give us an update on that on Wednesday, or will that be in September?
I can give you I've done it as of today, what the revenues and expenses are. So I can send that out to all of you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, we'd like to go over it on Wednesday because it's a lot of moving parts.
It is a lot of moving parts, yes. And I'm waiting for Brian to get back to me on some, to make sure that his numbers jive with mine. And we did it like a couple weeks ago, but summertime's busy. So just want to keep up on that.
Right. Could you include me on that list?
Absolutely. I'll
Thank you.
include the board and the finance committee on
Okay.
that. Number 4 is the historic district salaries. We had a little bit of an overlap as the clerk switched. So it was kind of like a transition period so that they worked together for a little bit to transfer some of the information. So that's why we need a little bit more on that one. Number 5, I just underestimated the overtime for the police. So this was backfill. It was for trainings, for some detective work. There's court appearances that I wasn't anticipating.
Yeah, I think that we're going to be looking for an update, like maybe in our September meeting from the police chief, because it was my understanding that when we increase the number of positions, we would not have as many backfill issues. So I'm concerned that we're backfilling positions with overtime. So we just need to understand that better, I think.
Yes, I'm definitely aware of that.
Yep.
And Andrea, when you say you compared to your estimate, you mean for the last budget transfers that we did, which was before the end of the fiscal year?
Right, so mid-June, I had estimated through the end of the fiscal year, based on the information I had at the time, but.
And we transferred
then-
50,000 from the FinCon reserve fund to the police overtime salaries. So this is another 4,000,
It is.
right on budget.
So we could talk Wednesday too about
Okay,
if you'd prefer, next year to just do the budget transfers after the end of the fiscal year, in those first 2 weeks of July, when we're dealing with the actual numbers versus estimating and then having to adjusting again.
okay, yep.
And number 6 is the conservation professional services. So this is where another change is. Instead of the temporary loans and interest for $28,000, I need to change that to the rubbish garbage disposal line. Because I need the temporary loans interest to pay for the ban issuance costs. So we just issued the $4.1 million ban for the water projects at the end of June to cover what we've spent so far. And there's about $17,000 that we had for issuance costs. And I just talked to the auditors. They got back to me today about having that grossed up. So like you can see the expenses clearly and not net it against the premium that we received. In the past, we used to just net it and then just, whatever the difference is would be the premium that we brought in. But now they want to show it everything separate. So it's a little bit more transparent. So that's why I need to change that account number.
Andrea, two questions. What is the star about? And secondly, when does Hamilton pay us?
So the star after the 5 just means like, I didn't pick an exact expense line item in that budget. So like it could be like postage or
Oh, I see.
dues and subscriptions and stuff. So
Yes.
instead of just picking a number, I did a star for just for speed.
But this transfers to pay Hamilton, correct?
Correct, yes.
So what
Ah.
happened to our $43,000 professional services budget we had in the fiscal year 25? I don't see that we used it in the other transfers. So I'm confused why have a problem.
I did use it in other transfers. I used it to cover
Okay.
the conservation agent's salary. Because now we're paying 100%. And she started in February, beginning of February. And
Okay.
then this 35,000 is for the previous conservation agent from July through beginning of October.
Okay. And so Hamilton has not yet paid us for all of fiscal year 25. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And when does that typically happen, Andrea?
This month.
So we
So I
actually
was waiting
have,
for the agreement.
yeah, so actually also on the agenda is for the Board of Selectmen to vote on the agreement. This is both the IMA with Hamilton for HR and for Concom agent. So Andrea was looking to put together an invoice for the agent. And I said, well, let's pull up the contract, and then noticed that it actually hadn't been signed. So I'm not sure if it had been voted on. I'm sure, we've been acting under that agreement, so I'm sure it's fine, but wanted to get it in front of the the select board to vote and then get signatures on it. So we have a signed contract, which allows us to invoice the Hamilton.
Sounds good.
And the next one, number 7, is first the select board newsletters and notices was over by $2,193. The bills go out 4 times a year, and it was a little bit more than I expected, and I missed that one. Number 8 is the treasurer collector postage. That we had increased rates for postage that we weren't did not include in the budget for FY25. So that was about $2,000 of it. And then another $1,000 is for professional services for our bond agent, so Hilltop Securities. They went up about $1,500. So, and then we just found out from them that they're going to be going up 5% every year going forward. So at least we know that now.
Okay.
And
I
then,
don't, what I'm looking at says treasurer collector postage, and you're saying that that also includes bond agent?
it does. So see, like I should have put both expense accounts number, but I didn't. So I have the 5-star. So I'll be moving
Okay,
to both of those.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay,
Number 9 is workers' comp and liability insurance. Workers' comp, we had additional medical expenses that came in that I wouldn't know about them because I don't see the bills until we get the final rated bills from our third party. Liability insurance, we had additional costs for the notary, and the marina came in a little bit higher than I expected. Number 10 is
Hold
police
on just a minute,
expenses.
Andrea.
Mm.
I'm looking at the email that Tony sent us. So
Yes.
it looks like that's misnumbered. It looks like there's a box
Oh,
to the select board. Is that correct? So that should be 6, and the treasurer collector is 7.
Yeah, they got
oh yeah, sorry
renumbered
about
when
that.
we-
I was going off of my old one. Let me
okay.
let me open up the new one.
Okay.
They
Yes,
got
so-
Sorry about
renumbered
that.
from track changes, renumbered
see.
it, Angela.
Gotcha. Sorry, I missed that. So yeah, so that was number 7. Number 8 is police expenses. It was $600. The fuel bill came in more than we had estimated. And number 9 is inspector expenses, annual cost for education classes for one of the inspectors. I was not aware, one of the inspectors actually went out for additional classes that had been approved that I wasn't aware of, and this is the reimbursement for that.
So that's really 10, right? So we only deleted one item. We deleted number 2 on the old thing.
Correct. Deleted number 2,
Okay.
modified the now number 5.
And how did we modify that again? I'm sorry.
So cross out the temporary loans and interest.
Yep.
Line and add rubbish garbage collection line, which is 001-400-404-52953. And that's also for $28,000.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I wasn't paying attention.
It's emailed to you too.
Yeah, I'm looking at my email. And I'm
Okay.
looking at my printed thing, so I'm really confused.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So there's 10
If-
items.
If,
Okay.
yeah,
I really try and minimize the amount of changes if I can.
Do members of the finance committee have any questions on these transfers?
No.
My question would be, is the select board newsletter, that's the 2 side of number 5? Conservation professional services, is that right?
Number 6 it is.
Okay,
So in the email,
sorry
the
about
numbers
that.
are off by 1.
okay,
So the select board thing should be in 6, and then the treasurer collector becomes 7,
Mhm.
et cetera.
Okay.
With a total of 10.
I get it, thank you.
Took me a while.
Andrea, my recollection is we haven't had to do this for a few years. Usually we nail this stuff down right before. Is there anything happening this year that's just different that prompted these changes?
Well, this year I would say some of the changes that we weren't expecting is that the conservation agent went from Hamilton to us. So that was one of them. Obviously, like Greg leaving caused some additional work at your end, so maybe a little bit distracted on some things. And just overall expenses going up. I'm hoping that like I talked with Tony today again about it, that we're looking at next year's budget to make sure we don't have some of these recurring things happen again and see what else we can do. Because I know this is a lot of transfers this year. I don't like it. I'm sure no one else likes it. And I really want to be transparent and accurate with that. So that's our goal going forward. And hopefully things have settled. We have a conservation agent now. That's ironed out. We're going to do the agreement. So
Yeah, I think the frustrating piece to me is that the department heads are exceeding their budgets, and somehow you're not being made aware of it, particularly in the last month of the fiscal year.
Mhm.
It just seems to me like they're just spending and really not paying attention. And hopefully next year that can be adjusted a little bit.
Yes.
But I think that's worth reinforcing to department heads.
Yeah, and I think like, most departments heads are on their budget. Sometimes there's things like, the harbor boat transmission, that was $4,000. That was something that wasn't in the budget, and they do try and keep their budget very tight. But again, yeah, there are some things that I'm not made aware of.
But I think, Andrea, this is Kathy, the ones that concern me are when we say we need to backfill people because of training. Things like that, you can plan those activities in a way that does not cause a transfer to be needed or cause overtime to be needed. So that type of thing, I think, I'd expect we get a better handle on.
Yes. Yeah, and I'd say this year was an odd year because we had one officer on leave. So when you had someone else like out on training, that means you're 2 down on that shift. So I don't expect that
Yeah, that's
to
fair.
happen next year.
Andrea, so I have a question. So most of these transfers, I would assume that the people who are responsible for those budgets can see what's happening a month or two in advance of the end of the fiscal year, and they know if they're going to go over. And maybe there's not too much they can do about that. If they tell you, how does that change your life and our life? Because it's going to happen.
It is going to happen. Yeah. And usually, we've been in contact, some people even in February know that they're going to be over, and we'll say, okay, well, you got to cut your office supply spending, or you can't go on this, education, conference or something like that. So like they are aware of those things, but then there's the things that happen at year end, like a new transmission,
I understand
or,
that.
the fuel bill, and, you end up using more fuel, for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, the bottom line of my question is if they get in touch with you a month or two in advance of the year end, does that make a difference other than saying try and tighten things up? And I'm not saying they aren't trying to do that and they go over anyway, but does it, is there anything that we can do that makes life easier for you or for us, or it's just happens?
Sometimes it just happens, but definitely
Okay.
communication and reviewing the
Can I-
budgets and making sure we're budgeting those lines
Yeah.
as well.
Can I suggest that anything that involves boats should have a decent line for maintenance? Because my experience is that boats need maintenance.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking
It's
forward
usually
to
very expensive
discussion.
maintenance.
Well,
I don't
I'm
own a
looking-
boat, so I'm not familiar, so.
Andrea, I'm looking forward to the discussion of that harbor, of the launch.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The transmission thing is exactly what I think Kathy and I were focused on when we put together that pro forma budget.
Mhm.
We'll wait to that conversation.
Yep.
With that, do I have, what's the total amount of all of these transfers, Andrea?
$58,813.55.
58,813 and what?
55 cents.
55 cents. Do I have a motion from a member of the Finance Committee to approve these 10 transfers as referenced in the email received from Tony Barletta at about 4:29 p.m. totaling 58,813.55?
You do.
Second.
So who moved it? Tom moved it and
Okay.
Peter seconded it. Okay. I'll take a roll call vote. Peter,
Yes.
Gar,
Yes.
Maury,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and Sarah votes yes.
And Andy votes yes.
Oh, and Andy votes yes.
Sorry, I'm late to the call.
In there.
Okay, do I have a motion from a member of the select board to approve the transfers in the amount of $58,813.55 as described in the email from the town administrator late this afternoon.
So moved.
Okay, I'll give you John and who will second?
Brian?
Okay, Brian.
Right.
Okay. Brian,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
Anne says yes.
With
Okay.
that, I'll take a motion to adjourn the finance committee.
So moved.
Gar moves. Who seconds it?
Second,
Who is that?
Maury.
More.
Lori, okay. I'll take a vote. Peter,
Yes.
Gar,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Tom, and Sarah votes yes. Thanks a lot. We'll
Thank
see
you
you
all.
Wednesday.
Yep, see you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so select board, what we're doing, what I'm asking you to approve tonight are the two intermunicipal agreements between Manchester by the Sea and the town of Hamilton. One for human resource services, the other for a shared conservation agent. My understanding, or maybe I'm assuming, but I'm assuming that, you know, both towns have been operating under these agreements. And it was just the lack of having actually signed agreements. And I don't think there's any, you know, issues as far as the language of the agreements go. They show that the agreements are as of September of 2024, even though we'll be voting on them tonight. Because you don't want to backdate the approval. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys actually did vote and approve
suspect-
these, and then they just didn't get a signature. But better to be safe than sorry, or just have you guys vote on
Okay.
them and
Yeah. Conservation.
on the conservation agent, the town of Hamilton was previously the lead municipality. That swapped, so now Manchester by the Sea is the lead, and it's a 60%, 40% split. So we, as Andrea had mentioned, now we pay for it in full, and then we invoice Hamilton to reimburse. And then on the HR services, there's no change. It stays as it has always been, I believe, where Hamilton's the lead, and it's a 75-25% split.
As long as we have this thing open. On page 2 of the human resources. In 3B, kind of in the middle, when it's talking about Rockport, the town is spelled incorrectly. This is just to prove that I actually read it.
The word town.
The word town.
Actually,
Expressly understood and agreed that Hamilton may elect to sell some share of the SHRD's hours to the twin of Rockport.
oh, I see it. Yes, I see it. We can make that, I'll make that correction.
Is there any discussion?
no, I was gonna ask why the dates began in 2024 and Tony answered my question, so I'm good with them.
Sorry. Okay, is there a motion to approve these two contracts with between Hamilton and Manchester?
I'll make that motion, and to approve both
John.
contracts, the human resources and the conservation agent.
Second.
Okay, that's Brian seconding. Any further discussion? Okay, Brian. are you-
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
and Ann says yes.
Tony, do you need us to come in and sign? I
I
presume?
think they're
just-
only signed by me.
Oh, okay,
Yep,
great. So you're
just
all set.
Ann.
Good.
Yep,
That's good.
Okay. Is somebody gonna be there in 5 minutes?
I will.
Okay, I'll be down as quick as I can.
Okay.
Is there a
Move to adjourn?
Yes,
Move to adjourn.
second. All in favor?
Okay. Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. Okay, thank you very
All right.
much.
Okay.
you,
Thank
everyone.
you all.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.